All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to our chit chat. Today we are talking about a very unique TikTok trend, and that is related to Alabama Rush. So,
Yes.
Michaela, tell us all about it.
Yeah. So this week, my TikTok for you page and probably most other people's was taken over with girls who are rushing at Alabama, which, if you don't know, the South has a really prominent Greek community, and rushing is, something that girls really look forward to, and it's a big deal,
Yes, so it's a
especially at
sorority rush.
Alabama. Yeah. So there was about 9,000 girls at Alabama that went through recruitment, and the trend that we saw really started with girls giving outfit of the day videos of what they're wearing each day of recruitment. And that came along with recognition of brands, specifically local Southern brands that, maybe the rest of the country hasn't heard of, having a viral moment, and
Yeah.
people just wondering, what are these stores that these girls are talking about? And a lot of those stores saw huge increases in not only their followers on social, but also sales in the store and just general recognition of the brands overall.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought, I mean, to me, this was pretty surprising, right? I think when we look at TikTok, we see the ability for specific videos to go viral, and that gets a lot
Mm-hmm.
of press, it gets a lot of awareness and all this sort of stuff. But there were a lot of girls constantly posting and eating up this content because, I don't know
Yeah,
the exact timing for every single university, but, it's not like Alabama is the only college that is rushing right now, right?
yeah.
So people are always, I think, especially within the fashion world, this is interesting because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people share their OOTD. That was the biggest thing on Instagram for
Yeah.
forever, right? A lot of that's happening on TikTok now too. So you now have Greek life participants across the United States looking at what Alabama is doing and actually buying from local. There was a pants retailer,
Yeah, the pants store.
the pants store, that's a local retailer in the college town that was just blowing up, and they said they saw like a huge spike in sales, and during that week it was,
400% increase,
yeah, and 90% of those sales were from out of state, whereas
which is
normally it's about
crazy.
50%. So I mean, it almost doubled.
Yeah.
Incredibly wild. And what's interesting is it's not just the local stores that are seeing a lot of spikes, right? It's also Kendra Scott jumped in on the trend.
Mm-hmm.
They got pulled in. I think Kendra Scott is a huge sort of like younger, maybe more preppy vibe
Mm-hmm.
of jewelry. That was everywhere. Kendra Scott saw big spikes in website traffic visits. Even their
Yeah.
CMO was saying so. It's got the power, or this particular event had the power to influence not just local but also national brands. I think
Yeah.
that to me is super cool, right?
Yeah, and I think it's a really good example of brands seeing a trend quickly
Yeah.
and jumping on it. And, a lot of these brands did end up working on paid partnerships with a lot of these,
Mm-hmm.
really prominent girls who are going through Rush. And I think, jumping on those moments is really important. And we've talked about it multiple times before. And, you know, just because Alabama Rush is over at that school doesn't mean we aren't, looking toward Rush at every other school in the country.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's also potentially a little bit foreshadowing, right? As we talk about what's happening with NCAA athletes,
Yeah.
this is the model that I can see exploding with NCAA athletes. And I think, leave it to, um, leave it to the women to figure it out, right? I think
Right.
predominantly females are social first more than males, but they're absolutely leading that. I don't think we're going to see any guys rushing fraternities doing their OTDs, right? Um,
Maybe as a
but it,
parody.
yeah, exactly. And that's funny too, because parodies actually took off against this trend too, which is something that's very
Yeah.
popular around TikTok as well. But this is cool. I think this just kind of paves the path of how things are going to happen from here on out. And what I love about a lot of these trends, again, is just that local businesses are getting involved. I'm very impressed with Kendra Scott for seeing it and jumping on it, being such a huge brand. I
100%.
mean, acting fast like that is not easy. So I give them a lot of props, but it's also same thing with these smaller businesses of the pants store, just seeing, oh my gosh, all of a sudden this is happening and we're going viral. They jumped on it. They did partnerships. It was a huge win for them, a huge win for influencers. And these moments didn't just make big sales for brands, they made big influencers. Right. So now
100%.
you have
Yeah.
all of these rushies, whether or not they made it in, I don't know. But they went from like nothing to 100,000, 200,000 followers almost overnight with videos that are getting millions and millions of views. So, like you said, culturally relevant topic, absolute perfect moment. Really great work on both national and local levels, and I think it's a
Yeah.
great, it's just a great example of how brands can lean into TikTok in super successful ways.
It is. I agree.